Hey, this is Keith from Save the Rust, and today we're in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, Canada with Sam from Firebikes, and we're going to check out his collection and his bike, his car, and a bunch of other stuff. Stay tuned. So Sam, why don't you tell us about this very beautiful bike?
Yeah, what we got here is a 35 Indian Chief that came out of Alberta. I didn't build it or anything like that, but I was looking and it just kind of popped up and the timing was right and I purchased it.
Looks like a lot of original parts on here.
Yeah, a lot of it's pretty original from what I was told. I'm not an Indian expert, I'm more into Harleys, but for some reason I've had more Indian motorcycles than Harleys. I've had some 16 Power Plus and 36 Chief and 101 Scout, 39 Chief and 40 Chief. So there's been a few different ones along the way.
So you enjoy your Indians?
Yeah, this one's nice. You just kick it and go, and it's a pretty nice riding bike.
Such nice styles, you know, with the air cleaner and the embossed primary cover. I just love how, you know, the style back in the day of parts. It wasn't just about being mechanical. It was about style.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even just the shape of the fenders and all that, the way they did everything back then. Like they're not, you know, they're nice swoops and curves and that's and then just the details of the pinstriping and even their logo with the Indian and all that they did is just crazy compared to, you know, Harley at the time, I guess. You know, they just Harley Davidson, you know, but they had some nicer paint schemes too later on and as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about Indians was that they were owned by DuPont, and you could, from what I understand, you could order whatever color you wanted.
Yeah.
So that's a big advantage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not a red bike guy, but this one's red.
Is that an original seat?
Yeah, it's original seat. You can see it's embossed there. You can still kind of read it out there and catch that. And yeah, it's coming apart, but we'll just leave it.
Yeah, shows its age well.
Yeah, and in the back there, that's my grandpa's company there. So I kind of got the bike, kind of just keeping it around. So I'll put his company name on the back.
And these are such a unique hinge, you know, way more pronounced than the Harleys. And if you don't know what the hinge is for, it's for removing the tire. I mean, back in the day, they had a bit more issues with tires than they do now.
Yeah, I don't think that hinge is ever going to break.
No.
Even the front ends, I love the front ends on these bikes, just the leaf spring, and it's just, they're kind of a cool design.
Oh yeah, there's just so many, you know, the double arm coming down, the leaf spring, and then just with all the mechanisms and everything, the braces, there's just so much going on in this area. It's just,
yeah, so mechanical. That's how I like doing other things. I like to keep the mechanics so you can see it. I don't like to hide stuff. Some people are like, why don't you hide that? I like to see that shit.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I've even done some bicycles and hubless, and I made the drive where you can see all the gears and everything, and like, why not see how it works?
Yeah.
So that's more interesting to me than hiding it.
Absolutely. And you got your shifter here, right off the transmission.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
yeah, and this some of these are pretty neat. I had one that was, you know, left-hand throttle, so that gives you a little bit of an adventure.
yeah. Especially when you're used to Harleys, right?
Yeah, everything's opposite, but this one's, yeah, kind of pretty much set up the same, just the shifter's on the other side there. But
yeah, she's a beauty. Flathead, is this a 74 cubic inch?
yeah, and the only thing really is not stock is the generator went out, so I put a 12-volt alternator on it, and I changed the headlight and taillight bulb, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else.
Yeah. Just made it more user friendly, and you know.
Yeah, buy batteries like $20 instead of like, you know, 60 or 100 for 6 volt.
And you can see at night. What a concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've had friends come up behind me on the bike on my 42, it's a 6-volt system, and they're like, we didn't even see you to the last minute. So it's good that the upgrade is a good feature.
Yeah, I normally would have never done it, but when it quits working and I got to spend the money, I might as well I can switch it back. That's an easy one.
Yep. Very nice.
Yeah, and like I said, I just love the details too. Like, when they do the horn and all that, it's just like just little things they did.
Like most people nowadays would never even understand, that they use a leaf spring.
Like how it even work, yeah.
Yeah, when's the last time they used those in like a car? I mean, they still use them in trucks, but my 13 Indian twin, it was the first year of the leaf spring rear section.
Oh, okay.
And that's even crazier.
That's ahead of its time, yeah.
Yeah, like
the double leaf in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the seat is actually all leaf springs too. It's a series of like smaller
leaves, yeah.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, she's a gorgeous bike.
Yeah,
so
if it was summer, we could be cruising.
Exactly. So tell us about Firebikes. We got something going on here.
Yeah, basically I'm into old motorbikes. So I kind of had this Whizzer motor laying around, and it's been 5-6 years I've been dragging it in a milk crate. And then I dragged it in here finally, and I'm like, the bike show kind of fired up. I'm like, maybe I'll put this bike together. So I dragged out a whole bunch of junk I had out of the shed and old bike frames, and I figured I'd spend a couple weeks and do some bike stuff. So I did the frame, I rolled it out with the JD squared and built the tank, grinded it down, and I just kind of give it my own take on making it look old, and just kind of rubbed it down and scratched it, let it fall over, and I'm just waiting for the belt to come for the rear drive, and it should fire up and run.
Awesome.
No brakes, but we don't need brakes. No kill switch either. We'll just pull the clutch in and let it fucking kind of die on its own, hopefully.
So again, tell me, this is a little bit different from what you used to do, like or what you normally do with Firebikes. Tell us about Firebikes.
Yeah, basically Firebikes is just like I did bikes like this with a lot of curves and points, which no one was doing back in the early 2000s. Every bikes were like straight tube, just kind of boring. So found a roller and just started playing with curves. I've never drawn anything out. I've just like sit at the table, lay it out. Okay, this looks kind of neat. Weld it together, stand it up, weld together, and somehow they seem to always got a nice flow. That's what I try to look for, and make sure everything kind of flows nice with the curves. And people seem to love them. I sold them all over the world. They've been in Germany, fucking China. They've been everywhere. They've been copied too in different places. And now a lot of the bikes they see, people are building bikes like these now in California and they're all kind of similar. They're using the curves and the points, but in reality, there was none of that stuff until, I kind of started throwing it in there.
And you've got one over here?
Yeah, I built that one for myself. I always try building myself a bike, and then I build it. And for some reason, I get bored after it's done. So I built this, I painted it blue, and then I hated the blue. So I painted this kind of gray. And I'm still like, it's always, I think I search for a cooler, better design. So I think the moment I was building, I thought it was pretty neat, pretty cool. And then I'm like, I could do better. So I kind of get bored, and I'll build another one day.
Can you get on it just to see how the stance is?
Yeah, like I said, I always, they're actually pretty comfortable. A lot of people don't think they are. A little low to the ground, the pedals, but if you know how to ride a bike, you should be okay.
So was this like kind of California cruiser style? Or?
Yeah, a guy in Huntington Beach actually did some, cruisers, but they're straight, and then it's lots changed over the years. Like, this is a shifter for internal gears. Like the forks I'm making, the frame, the pedals I've made. And they're actually, like I said, they're not hard to ride. They look like they're hard, but if you can ride a bike, these are good. Like I've gone like 50 kilometers on it a day on this bike. Like in Europe, I've taken one of these and gone like on a boat outside of Amsterdam to the North Sea and rode back from the North Sea all the way to Amsterdam, and then cruised around. Like guys over there will put on 50K, 40K a day. Like, sometimes they're driving, 10K each way to go to work, because Holland's the bike capital of the world.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of these ended up, was in Holland. And then, now the wheels have changed, like bigger, this at 29, and this is a big, a disc rotor.
Perimeter brake.
Yeah. And I was going to this was off a different bike, these wheels. And I had another one with the disc brake calipers on and stuff.
And you make the disc and everything?
Yeah, I've actually made these discs. Yeah, I've done them. So I've done the discs, pedals, shifter, bars, forks, frame. Done a lot of different designs. I don't do the wheels or tires because I can't do that. But I like designing different parts, and I've done different stems. That's what holds the handlebars. And yeah, the seats I had a guy custom make that for me with kind of my mottos, fuck the factory.
Yeah.
Because nothing's bought at the factory. It's all made.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's just a bike. I've had that for a long time too. And actually that was in the yard. And I somehow misplaced the motor. So I put the little 80cc kind of eBay motor on it. And I was just going to build a gas tank for it and just use it to bomb around town.
Yeah.
So that one will be good because that one will have brakes and everything like that.
And you made the frame and the forks and everything on that too?
Yeah, frame, fork, and bars.
Awesome.
And that's probably 2008, that bike, but it hasn't had a motor in it since probably 2008.
And then we got, what else we got here? Well, show us your other frames that
Okay, this is one of my frames. This is probably the frame I've sold the most of. I did this bike in like 2007, and I took it to a bike event, and after I started making it, and I've sold hundreds of this design, it just seems, it's simple, but it just looks so good built up.
Yeah.
And the tubing's kind of a little different. When I roll it, it kinks. And it's just crazy. You get sometimes build something and everyone hates it, or you build something and everyone loves it. And this is one of these, everyone loves it. Like it's kind of timeless. Like it's, a couple more years, it'll be 20 years since I came up with this design, and it's still selling. Like guys are like, I love that bike, I want it. They're still not bored of it. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm bored of it. I've never rode one since 2007. So.
And then you got one up here.
Yeah, I just played around. I had some tube, like I said, when I was cleaning up, and I just threw that together. It's a little shorter, so I might give it to my wife if she wants it, or if not, I'll just make something else for her. Or she can just pick one. I got a few laying around here that I had kicking.
That's cool. You got some old signs too?
Yeah, I used to have a big collection of signs, and over the years I got rid of them, and I kind of kept the ones that good friends and close friends gave to me, and people that passed away. I've got things off them, and I've actually hung on to them.
Those are pretty rare, those white rose.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, with some things like you can get rid of and pass on, and some things you just can't.
Yeah. Is that a real one up there?
No, that's not a real one. I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could, but I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. Big money.
Yeah.
And the Polaroid?
Yeah, that came from my buddy Jim. He gave me quite a few signs, and then the 339s from another friend of mine that passed away, and the 7-Ups from the other guy that passed away, and then the taxis from my buddy Jim. That one's from a guy I just kind of met, but he was a nice guy. He gave me that, and yeah, so some of them just mean, they're just signs, but people have given them to me, or give me a really smoking deal. So I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this.
Yep. And then you got a Corvette here. Tell me about this thing.
Yeah, I was building a 65, and I pulled this all apart to do the frame and put it under the 65. And then after I sandblasted it, I wasn't really digging it. So I put the car back together. But I air rided it. You can't tell now it's on the hoist, but it's on it, 4-wheel airbags. And then all the suspension, everything brand new underneath, brakes, brake lines, everything's detailed. And then I put an LS engine in it. It's just a 5.3, but it should go pretty good. And I just got to finish up the inside, the dash, and it's got a touch screen, and it'll be up for sale because I don't need a Corvette. Yeah, it's probably a little messy in there.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, like I said, no one air rides it. I put it up for sale a little while ago, and everyone asked me about the air ride. Because yeah, it'll lay right down pretty low when it's not on the hoist, like it's up to get onto the hoist.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the front's up a little, aired up a little bit here, but
That's pretty low, because it looks low in the back right now.
yeah, it can go down more. It's like I said, bottomed out on the hoist. And then I kind of put vintage street asphalt racing slicks on it, kind of make it like a vintage road racer. That's where I got the number and everything like that. I was just kind of going for that kind of theme.
Awesome.
Something a little different. So maybe a guy that doesn't like Corvettes might like it.
So I hope you guys enjoy this, because it's -38 out and there's no heat in here and we're freezing. But
Yeah.
that's what we do to bring you guys great content. So Sam, tell us about this bike.
Actually, I woke up one morning and I grabbed my roller. I rolled this ring, and then I built it, and then I rode for coffee, like by 11 o'clock. And then I just loved it, and it's been looking like this ever since. I just painted it, and the only thing I've done in the last, like, it's been 21 years. This bike's 21 years old.
Oh,
The only thing
wow.
I've done is change the wheels, the fork, and the handlebars, but the green is still the same paint it was.
That's pretty unique. That's for
And it's
sure.
just kind of weird, and it rides really good too. And I just could never get rid of it. Usually I'll sell any of my bikes, but I couldn't get rid of it.
The bars look great.
Yeah, and I just did the fork just with the web, just to kind of modernize it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, wider wheels.
So this one's cool. Tell me about this one.
I built this in 2007, and it's the most comfortable bike I've ever built. It's nothing as crazy as my other ones, but it's just unreal to ride. I've rode it for years and years every time I go somewhere. And the stem I made, it's got a coffin stem, like all the bolts are hidden.
Nice.
And then the shifter is one of mine as well. And this glass knob, I don't think it's the one off one of my old Harleys, but it might be. I can't remember because I had a fake one and the one that was off my old bike. But yeah, this thing I go everywhere with.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this bike here is 2002. It's the first bike that I built, and I called it the Disco Beaver. And as you can see, like from the other bikes, this one's kind of traditional the way it was, with the older style wheels, the thinner wheels, and the old style Springer fork. And you know, it's just kind of what the parts were at that time, what you could get.
Yeah.
And now it's progressed where you can get, you know, different handlebars and different front ends and different wheels and tires.
She's low, eh?
Yeah, it's low and it's really long, and it's a good riding bike.
Cool. Is it cold in here or something?
It's cold in here.
So tell me about this one. This one's pretty wild.
This is actually the first bicycle I ever built, and I tried getting it back for probably over a decade, and then I got it back last year. It's been changed a little bit. The guy raised it up. It's not as low as it would have been, and different fork, but it's still the original bike that someone kind of cut up, but it's the first one that I ever built. So
That's
it's pretty
cool.
important.
Nice to get that stuff back. All right, so tell me about this crazy looking machine.
So I seen a guy on the internet, Bob Maddox, I think is his name, and he built this jet engine bike. And I'm like, the bike was kind of like just shitty, like ugly. And I'm like, I want to build a bike real cool. So I messaged him, will you build me a motor? And he goes, yeah. So I built this bike and I threw one of his motors on and made the tank. And a guy that hand painted all this, he did the hand painting. He passed away about 10 years ago. And it runs off a stun gun on this side. A modified stun gun that runs down to the plug here. And yeah, that's the battery. That runs the fuel pump, which I'm sure is no good. So it's been in there. This bike's been sitting since 2007. Because when you fire it up, it shakes windows and wakes up the neighbors. It's crazy how loud it is.
So this is it's a jet motor.
Yeah, it's like based off the German Nazi buzz bomb. That's why I call it the buzz bomb.
Oh, yeah?
That they drop out of the airplane, and as it pick up more air, it just go faster and faster and faster.
So how fast have you had this one?
Actually, I had problems with it with the fuel pump. Keep on going, wrecking them, and then I kind of built a filter, and then I actually sold my shop, and I really didn't have a place that I figured it was safe to fire up.
But you've had it running and it's loud.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube with it running. It's really loud, and the camera's shaking on the ground, like moving around, because it's the whole shop shaking.
It's awesome. So cool. What website or what YouTube channel?
I think if you Googled Firebikes Buzz Bomb, you might find it, or Firebikes Jet Bike. It'd be on YouTube somewhere there.
Oh, I didn't notice. That's a shovel.
Oh yeah, shovel. Yeah, not very comfortable.
That's pretty wild. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's about a gallon a minute fuel. It'll burn anything that burns, kerosene or gas or anything that will light on fire. It'll run off.
That is wild. So again, I want to thank Sam for letting us check out his collection, showing us his bikes, his bicycles that he builds. He's been building for a long time. You got a website?
I used to have a website. I basically just find me on Instagram under Firebikes.
Perfect. Hope you enjoyed that stuff, because we froze for you.
We froze. Yeah, still feeling it.
So I'm Keith from Save the Rust, Sam from Firebikes, and this is what we do. This is who we are. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.